Alright, welcome back to Combust Astrology. My name's Liv. We're going to be covering Saturn and Aries for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is the second time I'm recording this, as no audio recorded originally, so that sucked, but I'm still going to kind of go over what I said. Let's get right into it. Alright, Saturn in Aries for the first house people. So why is this transit something that is going to revolutionize you? Why is it going to change you? Oh my God. Saturn's been in your 12th house, and Saturn in your 12th has been like a lesson. While in Pisces, a lot of subconscious stuff that you had to work on. You know, while doing readings, a lot of people just seemed, how should I say, they're kind of just done. They're like done. Like you guys have been hustling since you were so young with that 10th house, since 2008, because that's when the ingress of Pluto entered into Capricorn. And so you've had that there, and it's not been the funnest time. You guys, I think like my Capricorn rising people, you guys have not had such a good time, because no matter how much you try to be yourself, you try to go into being an adventurous spirit, it's like Capricorn's always in your face, like the money, the money, the money. You know, like it's just always been there. No matter how much you try to make things pretty, you try to have like that interesting work-life balance where it looks nice and you're kind of just like, you know, maybe I'm an entrepreneur, maybe I do this for work and then I do this, and it's like, you know, that Pluto and Saturn's always there, like, no, actually you wake up every day and you do this, now go ahead and clock in, right? And so with that like changing, it's more so of a wake up call, because as Pluto now moves into your 11th house, and Saturn's no longer there in Pisces to give you depression anymore, which is really kind of what it felt like it did. It was almost like an existential like knock on the door, because otherwise you really would have done that thing forever, because of that 10th house. Like it really would have pulled you through and did that. But Saturn in the sign of Pisces was like, hey, where is the fun? What can we do? How can we grow? There's more than what it is that we think there is. Maybe you got in a little bit of trouble talking about it, but we still wanted more of that. While Mars was moving from Cancer to Leo for like 72 ages, we kind of saw how much it really, at the end of the day, doesn't financially matter what it is that you do, so long as you actually have joy from it. And that is where Saturn, at the end of the day, was doing its best to kind of show you what this is, right? Now, the next part about this is coming back to where you are now, which is Saturn in that first house is just like, hey, I'm going to help you. And you're like, what? How are you going to help me? Well, because Neptune in Aries, that can get you killed. Neptune in Aries in the first house is like being in the trenches of a war field, a war battle, whatever, and then getting so angry that you pick up a rifle and just randomly peek your head up. Let's just say this was like, I don't know, in the 1970s or back in the day, whatever. 1970s, what? Like, you know, like the Second World War. And then Saturn in Aries comes along and it's like, yo, what are you doing? That's like not a sergeant, not a general, because Saturn in Aries is not that much above you. Maybe Saturn in Capricorn. But in Aries, it's like, I said this in the last recording before it decided not to record the audio. It's almost like if you're in middle school and you have someone that's 2 grades above you and they're your friend, you know, like they've already been through what you're going through, so they'll listen to what you say and laugh and be like, oh yeah, Miss Miss, I don't want to say that and get copyrighted. Miss Adrian, Miss Adrian, Miss Ashley, um, gave us this pop quiz, and then they're like, yeah, she used to do that a lot. This is what you have to do. Just make sure you study this and this because she loves to do that. And then it's like, it's subtle. It's not, you know, uh, I don't know, guidance counselor that's like, you have to do this, follow the rubric. Like, they'll let you know you don't have to study all of it, but you could just study just enough. But you still have to study. That's how I like to look at the way this transit plays out. So if you're on that battlefield and you're peeking your head out and it's like, oh no, don't do that. That's someone that's been here in the war longer than you have, maybe like 6 months longer. And they've seen hundreds of people die. And you're brand new, fresh off the block, squeaky clean like that SpongeBob episode where everything's in chrome. And he grabs you by the shirt and pulls you down like, what the fuck is wrong with, like, just looking at you like, are you dumb? And at first it's very abrasive, right? It's going to feel very much like, what do you mean? You know, that's the square feeling of Saturn to your cardinal axis. Like, what are you talking about? I can't do this anymore. This is what I saw. This is what I believed in. That's Neptune speaking. But then the Saturn is just like, no, you're going to die. And this is where I look at Saturn and I look at Aries and I see that they have that argument, that war, that everyone's like, they don't like each other. It's just because it's like, bro, like, I want to fight with you, but you have to just chill for a second. You ever talk to an Aries moon? Get them mad. Aries moon with Cancer placements. Get them mad. Good luck, right? So while you're back down and you're getting yelled at by Saturn, and then you're the Aries person here, like, I really want to engage, I really want to initiate. It's like, wait. Like, let me first cuss you out, and then I'm going to sit you down, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. Because thankfully, Aries is like, all right, we could cuss each other out, but then we'll be friends in like 0.2 milliseconds, right? Milliseconds? I don't know. Seconds. And so when I look at this transit overall, that's what Saturn's trying to show you. Like, if you let Neptune and Aries here unchained by itself, you'd be cooked, because you would go out of your way to do so many changes, so many things, because you're just so hopeful and you're just so passionate right now. And God, when Uranus goes into Gemini, that sextile, the trine right now, at the end of April, think about how that was. The last 2 weeks of April, that was a lot of chaos. It was a lot of chaos. Saturn wasn't there yet. There's a lot of conjunctions of a bunch of Pisces. Neptune was freely unleashed, trining Pluto. And then I think Mercury was also, in Aries. There was a lot. So we don't want to just be so chaotic. So, because even if you don't do, you still feel it. So the Saturn in Aries comes through and it's like, okay, now that you're mad, or now that you're frustrated, now that you want this change so badly, yes, while we can walk into it, let's talk about how it long-term impacts us, both financially. Why isn't this drawing? Financially, how we look in this life, and how it is that we can make it actually work. Your earth signs will help you by making this actually fiction, like non-fiction, or actually possible. Because the fire signs will dream hard these next couple of years. They will dream very hard. And there's nothing bad about that. But as you have very drastic changes in your communication, you got to make sure that you are still pacing yourself. Because you could be the strongest, mightiest warrior, whatever, but it's like, do people want to be your friend? Okay, I don't care about friends. Okay, but how do you influence people that don't care about you? You're not an Aquarius person. You're not a Uranian cool person. Nothing wrong with not being Uranian, but You're not going to make something so mesmerizing because you're in the future alone and you want people to understand you 60 years from now. Like, that's what Aquarius is. You're an Aries person. You want to be seen. You want to be here. The sun exalts in your sign because you want to be the leader. So, in order to lead, the first thing you have to do is learn how to listen. Leaning into your opposition will help you. While the Chiron and North Node were in Aries, leaning into actually being able to be taught it's fundamental. And as you are becoming the leader, Saturn here will show you how to stand a firm boundary, but also not be so hard-headed, not be so quick, not be so judgmental. You know, granted, for some of you, you know, you don't, especially the more Capricorn you have, you're not going to say the thing. You're just going to get really anxious and like double speak or, you know, back down. And then if you got more Libra placements, you're really not engaging. But it's like, you know, the work you do is better. But how do you get people to let you do what you do best? And, you know, being a leader is not about the doing. It's truly about listening. How to win friends and influence people. How do I get people to care about what I'm going to say? That's where Saturn and Aries can teach you that ability to kind of like slow down and be like, okay, yeah, I'm listening. A good part of my readings as an astrologer is really just listening to people. Because once I find the problem, what they say to me, I can translate it and say, this is the transit. I can go to it. But if I just hear them and I go to the transit, I'm like, this, and this, that does nothing. What really does something is listening to what the person has as a problem, finding the transit, and then starting to create a bed where they can feel relaxed, laying down, and they have the ability to share. Mental imagery of you sitting down on a very comfy bed with a friend, just yapping about what's happened. Maybe you got your squishy pillow, whatever. You guys are sitting in front of each other and just talking. It's late at night or early morning, and you're just being present. That is the type of energy I want you to take as someone with an Aries rising with Saturn sitting here. Because as you move on through this transit, what you're then going to do is once you do hear something that provokes you, like, oh my God, Kelsey was telling me how Brandon did this to her and I don't like it. In the moment, you open your heart to hear what Kelsey's saying. But the moment that you guys are done and you get up off that bed, you're like, I'm going to go fuck up Brandon. Or, you know, Zach and Devin are talking about how Devante has been feeling left out and no one's really been sticking up for him. And Zach doesn't know how to approach him. And so now, once they get up, they're finding a game plan to go reach out to Devante and make a nice connection. But in that moment, you have to listen. So that's where I would say Saturn and Aries can teach you to be that leader. Because you already have the emotion. It's not like you don't have it. You care for people that are in your life, and you want to do better. So as you grow that network and as you become the leader that's necessary, listening is very important. And Uranus will definitely show you about that. But I'll cover that more in a Uranus video. Okay, that kind of summarizes it. Thank you so much for watching. If you need to contact me, I'm on Instagram. I'm on every platform. Well, I'm on Facebook, but I don't really use it that much. But you can just use my website. And with that being said, Good luck with this transit. I believe in you. I know you got this, and I can't wait to see the future that you guys create as leaders of tomorrow.